So we're going to go ahead and talk about the final games and give our thoughts on the first round of the college football playoff. We're going to start out here, man, the Battle of Indiana. Indiana University taking on Notre Dame. This one's going to be a lot of fun. BC, man, what's your thoughts on this big game? First game of the college football playoff.
I mean, like you said, it's going to be the Battle of Indiana. I think that's honestly, it's fun to see, even though they're not technically big rivals, so to say. It is interesting, though, to see like two schools that are in state, that biggest schools that are going to be going at it. And again, like the seeding for the college football playoffs this year is definitely, I'd say, interesting. Some people would probably say BS, just because of some of the like Oregon's trip to the college football playoff finals. But yeah, it's going to be a fun matchup, I think, for sure. I think a lot of I was going to say Hoosier fans, but also too like Notre Dame fans. Everybody from that state is going to be tuning in. It's going to be a popping matchup for sure. I would lean more towards Notre Dame, but I think it's going to be a dogfight.
Notre Dame, according to ESPN Predictor, is a 70.4% chance to win. The over-under in this game is 52.5, which is pretty high-scoring game, honestly. I like Riley Leonard, the quarterback for Notre Dame. And I think that the Notre Dame's quarterback Indiana's quarterback is an interesting guy, too. He's a transfer. Indiana has a pretty good rushing attack as well, but Notre Dame has great defense. So, Mike, Marty, what's your thoughts on this one, man? It's what the cool thing is, too, before I let you go on that one, too, is that it's an in-state game. So that's going to be a fun atmosphere to watch because being in Indiana, South Bend isn't that far away from where the Hoosiers University is. So that's kind of cool right there. I think that's neat.
No, it's definitely cool, but I don't see any Indiana fans really taking over that place. The Notre Dame fans are going to show up. They always show up. That home field advantage is something different. And just to piggyback, because you guys took most of what I was going to say, but just to piggyback a little bit, that Notre Dame defense, man, they're going to stop Indiana, bro. I don't know about that overhitting. I think it's going to be a dogfight in-state game. I think it's going to come down not to the wire, but to the fourth quarter, and then Notre Dame is going to take off because that defense is just going to be so good. But no, definitely I got Notre Dame winning this game.
Yeah, I was a little bit hard on Notre Dame last week when we were talking about it. It was more of just like the seeding and that they don't have to go through a conference. But Notre Dame is a legitimately great team this year. So I'm picking Notre Dame in this one as well. I think their offense and defense is just going to be too much for Indiana, who still, when they finally played one of the big boys, put up a little bit of fight, but not enough. So I'm going Notre Dame. Yep. Everybody going Notre Dame in that one?
Yes, sir.
All right, I like it. All right, moving on to the next one. We got SMU and we got Penn State. And I'm excited for this one, honestly. And I think one of the biggest narratives is always going to be that Penn State, whenever it comes to the big game, James Franklin seems like he can't do it. I'm excited for this one. We had the Penn State did have their backup transfer who does play. I love their tight end. That guy is a Swiss Army knife and can do it all. But I think SMU is one of those dark horse kind of teams, and I think a lot of people didn't know about them going into the preseason, and they've looked really good to me. BC, buddy, you're up next, man. What's your thoughts on this one?
No, for sure, and I think that you pretty much spelled out the narratives for this game. Penn State tends to kind of come up short in key moments in the big stage, but I think that SMU is going to be that perfect team, that underdog team that's going to, get underdog in the sense of, not a Power 5 school, Power 4 school really anymore, but they're kind of the unexpected, possibly, if you want to use college basketball reference, Cinderella team, and I've got them upsetting Penn State in this one.
Nah, I like what SMU has been doing, especially the last 5-6 weeks. They've been putting on a show, especially as underdogs in the dark horse. So they've been showing that they should be involved in this college football playoffs, and they will deserve it. But I think that train is going to come to a stop, and I think Penn State's just going to prove that they are the better team. Yeah, they do come up short in moments, but I think now is just they're going to be like, yo, we cannot come up short here. We cannot take off the foot off the gas pedal. We cannot take our foots off their necks, and they're just going to trail home with this dub.
Yeah, I agree. I think SMU's offense is going to surprise Penn State, though. I'm going to go SMU in this one. I think it's going to be the upset. SMU is a dark horse for me. I kind of just realized that was no pun intended. But having said that, They're an interesting team, man. I really like SMU a lot. They can make a lot of noise in this playoff, I believe. So, all right, BC, what's your pick?
I got SMU upset.
SMU, G Mike.
Penn State.
Penn State. All right, we are Penn State. All right, man. We're going on to the next one. This one I think is going to be the most exciting game out of the entire, first round. Might even be the whole thing here, man. Tennessee taking on Ohio State. The narratives are outrageous in this game here, man. Ryan Day is on the hot seat already, and if he loses another big game after losing to Michigan was it 2 weeks ago? Now I think it's 3 weeks ago. That's still fresh in all Ohio State minds. Tennessee, man, their offense is outrageous. That Nico kid is ridiculous. Josh Heupel always knows how to run a good offense. I'm really, really excited about this game. BC, what's your thoughts?
No, exactly. This is the primetime matchup right here. This is the one that most people are going to be tuning in, I think, this weekend to catch. Like you said, Tennessee's got a high-powered offense for sure. Ohio State, obviously, you can't count them out either for this one. Dude, I can't wait to see both these teams go at it. This is for me, this is going to be probably the closest, probably the most unpredictable of round one for sure.
No, definitely. This game's going to come down to the wire. I think the last few minutes of the game, whichever team has the ball is going to come down and do a game-winning drive. And I really think that Tennessee is going to take this, man. I got it in my gut. I think Tennessee is time for them to shine right now. And what Ohio State has been doing the last few weeks, they haven't been playing up to par. I think Tennessee is going to take this for sure.
Exactly.
What's wild is of all the offensive weapons that both teams have, it's 47.5 for the over/under in this one. I think that's over all day in this one. I would think, man. If Tennessee can play their game, it's over as far as the points go.
Yep.
But Ohio State's defense is pretty good too, so we don't know if they're going to play their game.
Yeah, and
but I think that they're just a dogfight team that they're never going to quit no matter what until there's zeros on the clock.
All right, well, let's get them picks in. I can't stand Ohio State as the team, but I'm going Ohio State in this. And I think the pedigree, the championship pedigree is too much. Ryan Day is a damn good coach. I think that they tried to prove something against Michigan, and it backfired on them, and it just didn't work out. I don't understand that one. It's going to be at home, too. That crowd is going to be ridiculous in the Horseshoe. Give me Ohio State.
I think crowd's going to play a factor for sure, but give me UT with a slight over. I'm gonna dip my toes into the gambling a little bit there.
Whoa!
I got Tennessee winning on a game-winning drive.
Nice. I'm going lonesome on this one, huh? I'm taking Ohio State. All right. I like it. All right, moving on to which was going to be another fun one, man. We got Clemson taking on Texas. Man, Texas, I was about to say let's go a month ago, something along those lines. Texas, I thought, was the most complete team in the country. Their defense is just ridiculous. They were only allowing, I want to say, maybe a touchdown a game, if you're lucky getting that. And then they just kind of seemed like the offense wasn't really clicking as much. They had that great game against Florida, dominated them, and then they kind of just, I think, can't get past Georgia. And that's been a factor for them. Clemson, they made it in by the skin of their teeth. They could have either not made it in and been. I don't think anybody had been upset if Clemson didn't make it in. They made it in because he won their conference, so kudos for them for winning it. But I just don't think that Clemson is on the same level with Texas in this game at all.
No, not in the slightest. And this one, I think I've got Texas. Well, spoiler alert, I think Texas pulling ahead of this one pretty comfortably. Again, even like we said, like last month or so, it's been a little iffy with them. But again, terrifying defense. The offense is going to do its thing. I don't think there's really much doubt that Texas, at least in this round, has got this one in the back.
Yeah, for me, this is a no-brainer, especially because both running backs, RB1, RB2 for Clemson, are out. So if you don't have your top players on your offense, man, you're not going to be playing the same game. And especially with Texas and how they play, man, I think Texas wins this by probably 2 touchdowns and a field.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pick Texas in this one as well. Hopefully, Quentin Ewers can play pretty well in this one. I wouldn't be surprised we see a lot more Arch Manning in this one, but yeah, give me Texas in this one for sure, guys. Yep. All right, fellas. Well, that is going to wrap it up for the first week of the CFP, and I cannot wait to watch these games over the weekend, and we are definitely going to be talking about this next week for sure.